Welcome to KOMY. This is the home of Schoolhouse Radio here where I live I'm just on the internet. Here where I live in Santa Cruz County. I got my brother Dan, my son Malachi, our friend and partner Nigel, coming from the East Coast. And we're just about ready to get started with our radio station. This is called Beachside Tech Talk. And we like to go live just to go across all the stations. We're live, of course, here at the radio, reach over 1 million homes this way. And then we're live on all the socials. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Welcome to the party. So what we do is we basically have 4 segments. We're about to jump into our segment on AI. And I got that music ringing in my ears. So welcome. This is kind of a little behind the scenes for the internet party people. Here we go. Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk. My name is Ian Utilli. I'm here with Nigel from the East Coast. Say hi to all the party people, Nigel.
Hello, party people. How are we?
I'm good. I hope everybody else is. Dan, my brother.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. So glad to be here with you.
And we're glad to have you. And my oldest son, Malachi.
Nice beard, Dad.
I feel good about the beard.
I do too.
Every once in a while, I want to cut it off. I got a big, huge piece of carpet on my face.
Man, get rid of that thing.
I think about it, and then
good looking to be hiding behind a beard like that, bro.
You know, the season's still going. The season's still going. We'll see.
The winter is over. The summer is here. It's time to,
that is a good excuse for shaving the beard.
Yeah, that is a good excuse.
Let's break that chrysalis and become the beautiful butterfly that you are.
You ask dudes with big beards that shave them, and you ask them afterwards, "You happy you did that?" 100% of the time, the answer is no. No, I'm not happy.
Definitely not 100%.
Then they lied. Then they lied. You know who else?
It can come back.
You know who else lies? AI lies. How often have we used ChatGPT, Grok, or any of the others, the Claudes, DeepSeeks, Siri, and they tell us things that aren't true? It is so strange. And then they'll hold their ground too.
Do you know what just happened when you said that last word on my phone? Siri tried to pop up.
Yeah, of course it did.
And it just popped up
trying to defend itself.
Real quick, I wanted to ask what you think about the home, Alexa, and Siri systems, or even on your phone, as they're listening all the time, right?
Yeah, it is kind of scary.
It did basically come out that that's the truth. They tried to hide that was happening, but it's definitely happening.
7 days.
Yeah.
It's always listening, waiting for you to say what? Its name.
Right.
So it's listening.
So it's always listening.
It's always listening.
Always listening.
Now the question is that everything that's being said in your house while you don't even know that something's listening to you, is that going into data, or is it just disappearing? No, it's going somewhere, whether it's being filtered, used, or picked up, or transcripted, or however. But it's going into some server right now.
Right.
We just don't know what's happening with it. But if it were me owning an AI system, I would be utilizing that, because that's real data.
Yeah.
That's real personal. That's what people are saying in their house. It's hearing every argument that you have. It's hearing how you talk to your dog and you say,
the dog deserved it. Okay.
Yeah.
The dog deserved it.
He was in all night. No, he was out all night. But yeah, it made me think very deeply about, am I comfortable?
Yeah.
And I figured to myself, you know what? I really don't care. Doesn't matter if someone's picking up.
I mean, it's like, what are you gonna do? Honestly,
I don't care.
I don't care.
If I want to care about it, then don't say that around that device. Real easy.
Do you think that turning Siri off makes it so it stops listening to you?
You have to unplug it.
Unplug it as in.
Yeah, you can't. It can't even be near an outlet because the thing's somehow still trying to figure out what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually a lot to be said that even when we turn our phones off, they're still listening. Now, not every phone is listening, but there's the ability for bad actors or governments or hackers to potentially tap into a phone even if it's off. I mean, if you get far down the rabbit hole, it can make you feel quite uncomfortable.
Well, they say that it's listening for no reason. It's not listening with intent. It's just picking up everything said. So there's no listening. There's a difference between picking it up and then listening. What we're saying it like it's something is listening to it and actually discerning conversation.
Yeah, that's a distinction without a difference. I
Right.
couldn't wait to jump in here on this one.
Yeah, give it to us.
Like,
Nigel.
yeah, this is gonna be a super hot take.
Okay, go ahead. Spearhead the
Because I've
this,
had
this
enough.
takes
I
on
can't
fire,
hold it
everybody.
anymore.
This takes on fire.
It's gonna get spicy. It's about to get spicy. The first thing is this. I think with Siri and with Alexa, you have to start realizing people are like, Alexa's listening to me. Of course it is. You put the same email in on your Alexa on your phone. It knows exactly what you did because you told it. I believe the issue is the data. And we don't want, between the marketers and the companies, we don't want to lock up our data. We don't want to hold people responsible. What you just said, about, oh, it's listening or it's not listening. Like I said, a distinction without a difference. Here's the solution, in my view. You make people
it's hearing,
so super accountable for looking at your data that they don't want to. Like that's the answer, because you see WhatsApp, Meta, we can't look at your data. There's commercials on that now. I just saw one for Safari. Oh, the truly secure browser. Nonsense. Think about this. As simple as this is, what government in their right mind, particularly ours here in the US, is going to let someone have this unfettered, secure, no one can listen to? Stop it. We can't believe that. There's always something that can listen to it and see it. I'm not saying they're running rampant with it, but I am saying that if we put things in place, better that they probably are in place, enforce them. You want to look at my data? And I'm not talking about some BS HIPAA. I'm talking about, hey, Ian, I saw you looked at the Gratitude Champions email. Why did you have that?
Right.
I didn't look at that. It was like, that's 40 years.
You
like,
gave
what?
it to me. What did you expect?
Like, what do you mean I'm going to jail for 40 years? Like,
fault.
And it works. Here's the proof that it works. I worked in a bank for many years, a couple decades, and the mortgage and loan scandal came out, right? So, CEOs, I don't know anything. Wasn't me, like my favorite line. Not know me. I don't know anything about that. Well, the government said, okay, well, you can keep not knowing, but next time you're going to jail. Wow. Boy, the amount of emails and messages that came down and management me. Now you know everything. What happened? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Like, once we're accountable, a lot of this stuff goes away, because you don't even want to know the information. Right now, it's too comfortable. People just look at the information and then say, well, third party, we gave it to this other person. They can't tell you who the third party is. They just say third party, like if that's enough. So that's my feeling on that. And as you can tell, I'm passionate about it.
I think there's going to be a great solution for this. That's going to be the next big computer hit, or the next big electronic hit. Is someone is going to create, and I think I mentioned this a few days ago, our own small server. So we can actually get out of the cloud. Someone, Lenovo, NVIDIA, someone that has all the tech anyways already put in place, is going to build us a small little 6x6 box that is its own private VPN and its own
inches or feet?
6x6 inches.
Yeah.
That just goes, it goes into your closet or wherever your router is and wherever your internet connection is. And then that'll be a giant container that you are able to filter things through to decide that you're going to be able to set it up as you need to see fit. Let this in, don't let this in, or, you'll be able to create parameters around all of this AI. And that's going to be something that's really going to create a personalization for us and a comfortability too, just releasing so much that's out there because we don't realize that everything we do and everything we say is out there. So we'll have more personal choice.
Did you guys see that Elon Musk just took a drug test for the government?
Fail.
Came out clean.
Oh, okay.
Came out negative on all drugs.
Oh, that's
And so that was interesting because he had a lot of
No Adderall, no Ritalin,
nothing.
Nothing.
He's
Sometimes I hear him talk. He gets into the.
he's either clean or he cheated. I mean, if you're Elon and you're crazy like him, he's gonna seem like he's on drugs all the time. But but reason I bring him up is, interesting the way he has gone about acquiring Twitter. Right, he acquires Twitter for probably 2 to 5 times more than it was worth. It's kind of a weird way it all happened. He buys it. Of course, he walks into the place where I used to have my office because I was the entrepreneur residence at the Innovation Hub there on Market and 10th. He walks in with a sink, right, to quote unquote let that sink in. He basically ties in Tesla's cameras and AI,
so funny.
and he launches something called X.AI, which is Grok, which is the competitor or collaborator with all the rest like ChatGPT. He then sells X, formerly Twitter, to X.AI for more money than he bought it. So he literally just spun a company out of nowhere and then buys X for like 80 billion
at whatever it is now.
And now he's raising $4.3 billion for equity in X.AI, which also owns Twitter. And so that's like a big global news. So I start this segment off talking about AI is not always honest, but AI is certainly funded well. AI may not always tell us the truth. It may go off on these different tangents. We call them hallucinations, is what our term is for this, when it tells us things that aren't true or gives us sources that aren't true. But I also want to give some local Bay Area stuff. There is a AI ethics product launch called Proof of Attribution. And this is a whole new feature that's being rolled out locally in San Francisco, rethinking data ownership. And, and hopefully this can kind of spark some local innovation amongst the Silicon Valley thinking through ethics. But there's a lot of, things happening. The SEC has gone from an enemy of AI and crypto to now being, which we'd call that like a headwind, right? It's like the whole regulation industry is against innovation. And now there's a tailwind. Now the SEC is kind of pushing, like, let's innovate, let's encourage entrepreneurs. And so there's a lot of implications in terms of, could San Francisco have a reemergence of our entrepreneurial tech hub excitement?
Another push from the Silicon Valley days
Right.
era.
The SEC
We had the infrastructure.
wow, that's nice. I just saw yesterday that the SEC canceled, or whatever the word is for "you're bad," the pump.fun, which is basically meme coins as a whole.
Right. That's what Donald Trump used to launch his meme coin for his
and that's where all the
presidency.
other meme coins have been, where it goes way up really fast and then crashes right down. And it's kind of like a glorified form of gambling.
Yeah, we'll get into crypto in the next segment. The founder did get arrested, and they do seem to be in trouble. They basically created a really easy gambling mechanism for people globally.
So crazy out there. I don't even know how many of our listeners or people even know what that is. So maybe
they know penny stocks. So it's kind of like penny stocks in real time, where things happen in a minute or an hour compared to in a month or a year.
Where can you get stocks from other countries? Because I don't even know how to.
You hire companies to do that. You hire exchanges to broker for you.
Yeah, I've never really looked into it. I'm not much of a speculative investor.
Just curious.
But here comes our music, heading to a break. Thank you for joining us at Beachside Tech Talk. Be back again in just a moment here at 1340 a.m. KOMY, home of Schoolhouse Radio. All right, Internet.
What's its name?
Its name is
We
whatever you want to call it.
I didn't think at all about that yesterday, and that's my mistake, my fault. But something's happening, is brewing right now
with
the name, instead of calling your internet your friend, instead of saying, "Hi, Internet. How are you today?"
How about homeboys and homegirls?
Yeah. How about clan? How about
clan? That doesn't sound good. Hi, son.
Hey, look who it is.
It's Nathan, the little guy. Are you reading your book? Well, it's sleepy time.
That might work. I think that's going to pick up.
We just put it on here. Can we set it here? Is that close enough?
Needs to be right here.
Yeah, you want to be close. What I would do is I just take your microphones and put your microphones on the inside if that's what you guys want to do. But Nigel, anything you want to say to all of our homeboys and homegirls out there on the World Wide Web?
Yeah, I don't think I'm a fan of the big homeboy homegirl one, but
He doesn't like that either.
no.
So no
No.
clan, no homeboy, no homegirl.
No,
So what are we going with, everybody?
Here's my suggestion,
Someone call it
and
Instagram.
you know, for whoever wants it,
That's kind of weird.
What is your suggestion, Nigel?
humanity.
Hello,
like that.
humanity. But we do have to recognize we're actually talking to the
Yeah.
digital
What about all the
entities
nodes that are out there listening right now and
Yeah,
shaking?
well,
off what we're talking
that's the
about?
connection. Listen, but that's the connection. I think when you we can't say friends because we're not friends. You know, we could be like an
Oh, yeah.
internet of
I'm friends
acquaintances.
with everything and
Hi,
everybody.
friends. Sound like a
You see, but that's the misnomer. That's how we get into trouble. You know, like you show me a movie where somebody says, "Oh, I have friends." I was
wonder if they were.
rewatching. Yeah, like
Good
it's
question.
like
Or is it just too much?
I mean, it's definitely better if we did all
I
that.
don't need a billion friends. Literally.
Right.
I
already
don't
have a
think it's
billion
possible to have 1 billion friends.
You couldn't.
I don't think so.
Not in reality. You could on a social
There's
media.
some study that says
You
you
can
can
be
only have
biased, maybe,
150
$1,000.
relationships.
Well, what classifies as a friend?
That's
Yeah,
a great. You
that-
see, but
that's
this is
a
what I'm
great
talking about. It's a perfect question.
Because
I had
I
63,000 contacts in my cell phone, and I erased all 63,000 during the holidays. I just wanted to see what would happen if I erased every single contact. And to be honest, like it definitely has caused me loss of time because I'm like, who the heck is this? I
Did
gotta
you
go back.
truly erase it, or
I
did
did.
you download it into a
I
hard
downloaded
drive
it first,
and
yeah,
then the hard
obviously.
drive? Okay, so it's not.
But I erased
It's
it
still there
from my
so
phone.
It's still somewhere.
and I've now gone 7 months and I haven't reloaded it.
Okay.
And basically, I just part of it is I felt like things were not okay. Here we go. It's time to go live. Nathan, you can sit right there and just be present, honey. Welcome back to Beachside Tech Talk here at 1340 AM KOMY, home of Schoolhouse Radio. We're here in the Santa Cruz County and enjoying our free-flowing conversation. I'm here with my son Malachi,
what up?
my brother Dan,
Great to be here.
and our friend Nigel coming in from Florida. Nigel, why don't you open up our conversation about all things crypto, blockchain, and Web3?
Okay, crypto, blockchain, and Web3. Well, I think the thing that comes immediately to mind is just how much things have matured. To stick on that theme a little bit,
Mhm.
you think about Web 2 and you go and you search something on Google, which almost seems obsolete to an extent, unless you want to just get a quick answer to something like, you know, the Our Father. You know what's the Our Father, or just look up a word, or like kind of like a dictionary. Besides that, it doesn't really give great answers, on top of which we're in a unique position that I don't think is going to last. When you ask AI a question, you don't get ads, really. I mean, you get some, but it's
Well.
so few and far between compared to like a Google search. And it's so not it has less of the competing interest, which makes it way more valuable. Now, I think you could expand on that value by deepening your questions. And to Malachi's point, which I would love to hear more about, that is, like what he said before, what constitutes a friend? What constitutes anything? I think that the value of Web3 is we have a expanded ability, not that we didn't have it before, but we have a more mature ability to ask better questions, ergo get better answers. And that is where the rubber meets the road. And it doesn't matter whether it's finance and blockchain and, the transparency of the transactions, or whether the detail of the information with context itself. It's just that much more mature and not competing with things that don't really serve. So that's my take on it.
Wow, you're such an eloquent speaker.
He
Why,
always
thank
has
you.
man.
I'm curious to know how long of time it's going to be before we start seeing an ad pop up on our AI agents, because we need to realize that it's very, very expensive. The amount of information that's being pumped into these AI platforms and agents every day, the data that's coming through is all run on electricity.
Mhm.
And these huge farms of servers that are pushing through this electricity, and it's costing a lot of money. So right now, as they're working out their company or their platforms that they're doing, soon they're not making any money right now off of it per se, other than the use and the data that they're collecting. So there's going to have to be a big shift and turn. They're going to have to create something that's either more subscription based, to where it's going to cost to have these AIs. They'll downplay some of this free stuff, and compartmentalize it into affordable packages, or the ads are going to have to start coming through. I don't really see any other way that it can go.
How should we address the energy crisis related to AI? I think
Solar,
nuclear
solar,
energy will probably be something that happens
Solar and
later.
batteries is probably going to be the path forward.
The only
Yeah.
the only bummer about the battery, and I've said this for a long time, is just the lithium that they're using.
Yeah.
We haven't had enough R&D to know where all of these battery packs that have lithium chemical that's in it, which is a very dangerous chemical. I'm not a scientist or a chemist, but I do know it's not good, and the depletion rate on lithium is very slow. So as we have millions and millions of Teslas that have huge battery packs, they don't last forever. Let's say 10 years and we have incredible amounts of lithium that needs to be either buried in a a concrete tomb, or so we're going to have things that we need to be mindful of that will work out soon. So look forward to it. No doom and gloom, though. No doom and gloom. We're working out it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what people fail to understand is whether they are doom and gloom or hopeful, they're going to live in that reality that they speak out. So being a gratitude champion or being an optimist, it certainly has its benefits in that the way we perceive the world is the world that we experience oftentimes. But there are things that are just straight news and data. So let me give you guys some crypto news of the day. DDC Enterprise just secured $528 million to buy Bitcoin. So this is following Michael Saylor's lead,
Yeah.
who just bought another $1 billion of Bitcoin. So Saylor basically has turned his MicroStrategies company into now just strategies. And all he does for a business is basically get money from the market to buy and hold Bitcoin. And if he's right about his thesis and Bitcoin goes to millions and maybe tens of millions of dollars per Bitcoin, where right now it's just over 100,000, then all of his shareholders don't have to buy Bitcoin, hold it on their own hardware wallets, protect themselves. They just need to be able to buy and sell stock at any moment. So that's kind of his advantage. And a lot of other companies are taking that lead, and DDC Enterprise is one example of that. Another interesting thing that just happened is a $75 million oil deal was tokenized. So there's a massive acquisition of an oil and gas facility in Latin America. It was completely done entirely using blockchain tokenization. And so somebody out there may be asking himself, like, why would you ever do a 75 million deal on the blockchain? What's the point of tokenizing it? Well, you can get it around middlemen. You can go faster. So if the person that owns the Latin American oil and gas facility wants to sell it, and then they tokenize the ownership of it, and they put that token on the blockchain, and they say, if anybody sends me $75 million in Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT or USDC, then this token is released to that person. Therefore, the ownership is transferred. So it can definitely create speed. Go ahead.
I just feel like you need to explain the tokenization just really briefly, because people don't realize what a token is and the value that you're presenting it as.
Well, we used to have dollars were backed by gold.
Correct.
And so let's just call it 80 plus years ago, 90 years ago, a $10 US fiat currency bill was backed by $10 of real tangible gold. Therefore, our old currency was a token. It was a token that represented ownership over that much gold.
So it's confidence based.
Yeah, that it reduces the amount of faith you have to have in just a currency like
But it's still
dollars,
backed by gold, by a material.
which is still basically a faith-based currency too. Everybody has to have a consensus that gold. That's why gold price goes up and down. The consensus that gold's value goes up and down based on the market's desire for it. Nevertheless, having gold attached to fiat currency was a good thing because then you had a tangible asset that could be used to build things, jewelry, etc.
And that's the
And
token.
And the token was the dollar or the $10, the $100 bill that was backed by that gold. So if you are tokenizing a $75 million Latin America oil and gas facility, what you're doing is you're saying this is a real asset. We now create a token that owns this asset. So now you just have to move that token from one party to the other. And then you'd make that move based on the cryptocurrency, in this case, being transferred.
And the token could be this contract that holds its value, or it's.
I mean, you can use any number of blockchains to tokenize anything.
Right.
So you can basically take a picture of your car and your pink slip, and then put that on the blockchain and say that this car, the pink slip and this car are owned by this token, and so that's mine. And if I want to sell it, then I just tell somebody, if you want to buy my car, it's $35,000, and you can send me this wallet $35,000 in currency, and when you do, then the smart contract will release my pink slip and my car over to you, and then you can come pick up the keys.
Just digitizing something. It
It's
just makes it
digitizing.
digital.
Yeah.
That makes great sense. I just still feel that people are, or most people who are not super into that Web3 and cryptocurrency and AI and all that stuff are thinking of tokens as what I would think of them from old school. It's just a plastic coin. It's a thing that goes into a video arcade. It's a token doesn't sound like it's really worth anything because the word money sounds much more like valuable than token. But that was a great explanation, and I just felt that people need to understand, what the actual tokenization of things is, because it's not a joke. You're talking about $75 million.
Right.
When you were saying that I was thinking a lot about Facebook Marketplace, because basically imagine that it's Facebook Marketplace. You're selling and buying stuff because you value it. But instead, this just takes it one more step into making it digital. Instead of it being kind of in the middle where you're still buying and selling USD, and it's more like the Facebook Marketplace is just your interface to find things. This is fully making it digital. So now what you're selling, it still exists in the real world. Like that $75 million deal still existed. It wasn't just something on the internet. But now you're able to actually have it fully digital, and that's fully integrated.
What are your thoughts, Nigel, before we go to our break?
I think this is going to become a situation where you're looking at the one in a row, because money is paper, like the physical money. It's not worth anything. I mean, we say it's worth everything, but that's a belief. It's like, so when we have the one in a row, like what was it? Bitcoin, it was used to buy a pizza. The moment you and I do a transaction,
10,000 Bitcoin for two pizzas, to be specific.
Okay, well, good. You see the value of having that data. But if you and I decide to do a transaction, and we do it in good faith, and we exchange the documents and everything else, and we do that one in a row, and we build a community of doing that same thing, which is how this all works. We weren't always using credit cards. It was cash on a barrel. And then people started using it. And then that was all that was really available. Just like now, there's groups that are just like, we only work in Bitcoin. So if I have something that's valuable enough, and well, I don't use Bitcoin. Well, if you want this thing, you're gonna use it. And you're not gonna have a choice. Like COVID made us not have a choice. So that one in a row, that trust that's built up with there is gonna lead to a couple things. People adoption.
I like that.
Thank you for joining us here at Beachside Tech Talk on 1340 AM KOMY, home of Schoolhouse Radio. We'll be back in just a moment. Son, I want you to hold that microphone in your right hand.
That was probably my fault.
It's okay.
I
Oh,
clicked-
Malachi,
I
grab
clicked-
that microphone. Hold that microphone in your right hand. You put it in your mouth, and when he's talking, you put it in your hand.
Yeah, that works better.
That's it. Very
I'll just
simple.
hold it.
Not in my mouth.
We still don't know what we're calling all of
Put it in
our
your
friends here watching us live or watching the archive.
I think I should. Just
Nigel, you kind of wanted to call them humanity. Was that your?
Or humanity, if you want to be, more.
What's wrong with bitchin' beachsiders? That's my question.
Well, they can have another name. There's no limit on
We're
the
not live
name.
on the radio. This is the internet.
I mean, not everyone here is on the beach side.
This is
But
the
they
beach
can
side
be.
tech talk.
Okay,
But they can be.
That's actually fair. They're not all here on the beach side.
That's true.
all right.
That's true.
They can come on over to the beach side.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, this is our this is our last commercial break, and we'll get started again in about a minute and a half, and then we do our last segment. Our last segment, we like to bring up some stories, something that's inspiring, anything that's on your guys' mind. I pulled up a couple of stories that I might want to pull from. But I thought I'd ask you guys first. Humanity.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we're just gonna have to. Someone's gonna have to think for a minute because you spend 10 minutes on it and something righteous will come right along, right when you're not thinking about it. Something will sneak in there and it'll be a great word. It'll make you smile, feel good, and want to come back.
All right, I'm gonna share this local story.
Where are you? Where are you at that you're pulling up things? Are you on a news feed? Are you?
I just
are
asked,
you hitting social
I
media?
just asked ChatGPT
Are you
and
going
Grok,
outside and going Reddit? And
I just asked hey, what's stuff that's happened last 24 to 48 hours? Anything that's unique here?
Do you think that it kind of plays bias to Twitter? Like it'll lean towards going to Twitter's feeds and stuff like that?
Not
I
necessarily.
don't think so. I don't think it will.
All right, internet, we're gonna get going live again.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't think it would. I think that it would be
Okay, boys.
non-biased.
Here we go. Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk here at 1340 KOMY, home of Schoolhouse Radio in the Monterey Bay. And I'm here with my brother Dan, my son Malachi, and Nigel coming in from the East Coast. My name is Ian Utilli, and I'm going to share a hometown story as we kind of get ready for our close. We like to talk about inspirational stories. This one I thought was pretty cool. And so, here in the Monterey Bay, we grow a lot of fruit and vegetables. So I go over the world, Middle East, Europe, Asia, and I see Driscoll's and Taylor Farms and all sorts of our local produce manufacturers exporting this all over the world. So I'm going to talk about someone, Maritza. Well, I don't know exactly how to pronounce the name, so we're just going to call them M. Let's talk about M. So M, this could be said, going from the strawberry fields to a future in the Silicon Valley. So M grew up in a farm working family on the Pajaro Valley berry fields, which is about 10, 15 minutes south of here. And she'd help her parents before dawn and after school, which happens for a lot of the locals that come from Mexico, a lot of Latinos. And basically, it can feel like opportunity is distant for a lot of these folks, right? But there is a program, which I'm very familiar with for about 20 years, called Digital Nest. And she landed an internship at Digital Nest. And this is a Watsonville nonprofit. It's trained more than 4,000 people. Most of them are Latin people that are from Mexico that have immigrated up here. And it also has a lot of emphasis for underserved youth and trying to provide opportunity for underserved youth to be able to, get themselves out of a labor job into a job where they can use their mind. And so at Digital Nest, she learned coding, graphic design, and the purpose where she said, I belong in tech.
Awesome.
And she had all these resources. And then basically as the digital nest has expanded to 5 different cities, she was able to get I guess they got a $200,000 grant from Comcast. And so she's hustling, she's working evenings, and now she's helping start the Biz Nest studio. She's tutoring the younger mentors. Weekdays, she's still helping her family make a living in the fields. And a couple years ago, she enrolled at Cabrillo College, which is our local, you know, associate's degree two-year
Community
college. Yeah,
college.
it's a beautiful campus. You can see the ocean from it. It's extraordinary. That's where Malachi will be going to school this upcoming semester, where he'll do dual enrollment. He'll go to Cabrillo and knock out his associate's degree while he finishes up high school, his last 2 years. And so she walked away with 3 different associate's degrees. So obviously a high achiever. She got a associate's in liberal arts and 1 in business administration, 1 in economics. And then she was one of this, Cabrillo had a record number of students graduate, 1,599. And now she's going to San Jose State University, where she's going to get her bachelor's in business administration and international on the international business track. And so when you think about this story, here is a young gal that is just basically put in the situation where, hey, our family works the fields. We are the ones that are feeding the world strawberries. And then she finds out about this nonprofit and she goes, okay, what can I go get like a leg up here? She learns tech, she finds purpose. Then she gets 3 associate's degrees from local college. Now she's going to San Jose State to get her bachelor's. And a quote that she said is, your zip code is not your destiny. Your willingness is your destiny. And I think that's a nice story to kind of get ready to end our time together today. You know, oftentimes people can feel like their destiny has been decided for them. But I do believe that we can decide our own destiny.
We are
if choose to.
masters of our destiny.
I don't know if we're masters, but we certainly have a huge impact on it. And our attitude has a lot to do with that.
Attitude has a lot to do with
A
it.
lot to do with that.
So have a good attitude.
I think it's a benefit to do so.
It's helpful.
That's right. Any other stories that have come across your guys' mind, whether old or recent, that are inspiring about people, you know, with diligence and assertiveness and willing to put in the sweat and the work to make things happen?
We all love the underdog story.
We all love the underdog story.
And I know I have some inside of there. Nothing's coming up off the top of my head.
I think the work that I'm starting to reshift my position a little bit on not working hard or working in general, but I was reading this book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And it talks specifically about, I'm at the part now where they talk about the Sabbath and, you know, keeping the 7th day, you know, holy. And it talks about our just obsession with being busy, you know, are the twin gods of the West, as they call it, you know, accomplishment and accumulation. Do this, do that. And like, we're always running around, but we don't, you know, give ourselves the chance to really just live the life that we have. And I think it's somewhere in that conversation you just had is the living. It's, you know, so some may look at it as, oh, you got to work hard, you got to do more, you got to see yourself in the position. But the other part of it is just for you to just stop and look at what's in front of you. You know, to me, it becomes something that I've started to focus acutely on, which is looking for God in everything. Because I think that puts us on a good path. You know, because when you like stopping to listen to the birds, feel the breeze on your skin, so many things that don't happen, you know, case in point, if you live in the city, there's so much noise, you don't even recognize there's birds or wind blowing or a lot of the stuff that's even happening around you. We don't stop to necessarily recognize the fact that we are right now breathing. Yeah. To just stop and acknowledge that. So to me,
Nigel, you just made everybody listening and us realize that they're breathing in that moment.
I think the life we're missing is the life that we're not acknowledging. And I'll leave it there.
Well, I'm gonna bring another story from across the world and then let you guys chime in on it before we wrap up. Over in Ethiopia, a young girl named Suran. She just graduated from an institute called African Girls Can Code Initiative. And because of that, She now organizes digital literacy workshops, and she's teaching other young girls like herself STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and math. And she has a focus specifically on cybersecurity to combat different cyber harassment. And her purpose is to motivate young women by sharing her own personal journey and being a lighthouse to them, being a forerunner to them, showing them if I can do it, so can you. Oftentimes, I think it's easy for us just to look at people in our own area, or just look at certain types of accomplishments. But no matter where you go, whether you go 10 minutes south or on the other side of the world, there are extraordinary people, men and women of all skin color, all religious persuasions, all ages, that all genders, that are doing extraordinary things because they say to themselves, I won't be a victim of the life I grew up into. I won't be a victim of automation making me smaller and smaller. I will overcome, and I will be one that sets the tone for my generation. Malachi, you're the young guy here. Before we wrap up, how are you being inspired to
Yeah, there's
set the
so many
tone
amazing
for your life and the people around you?
there's so many amazing stories like that. I saw another one that was very similar to that the other day, of another young girl in Africa who built herself an entire plane. Not like the big commercial planes, but she built herself an entire small plane,
Amazing.
which is like it's amazing. It reminds me of like things you see in movies. And it makes me think, just like, that's possible. Like, I'm 16 right now, and if I was wanting to do that, I know that it's possible. And that's such a cool thought to get to have, especially in today's world where there's so many options of what I want to do.
Mm,
And I feel like I'm very lucky to get to know all those options and have some easy access to them.
yeah.
And those stories like that are so inspiring.
Nigel, any final words as we get ready to wrap up? We still got a minute and a half, my friend.
I say take advantage of all that is out there. I think we talked about a number of things today that just show that opportunity is there. And I know that's easy to say, but you can look for it, and you can actually find it using AI and the technology. You can use the technology to find more technology that helps you to get to where it is you're going. It's there for us. And even in this forum, you can reach out and get more information from other people who are like-minded, because we do exist out there despite the noise. So I encourage people to do that, embrace it. And I'll leave it there.
Dan, take us home.
Yeah, I would like to just say that keep getting into technology, but as Nigel has coined a phrase that I use every once in a while, don't be afraid, because we're always going to run into something and you're going to feel like technology doesn't work. But it's going to.
Yeah.
Keep trying, keep going.
Mm.
Have a great day.
Nice.
Everyone, thank you for joining us. This is Beachside Tech Talk here at KOMY, 1340 AM, the home of Schoolhouse Radio, where the team here is doing all they can to empower young people like my son Malachi to jump into the radio station and get that bug of being on the radio, having your voice heard. Have a great day, everybody. You want to come say hi? You want to show your Pizza My Heart shirt? Pizza My Heart. All right, Internet. Thanks for joining us. Nigel, always a joy to spend time with you, my friend.
This was wonderful. How about humanoids?
Yeah. How about humanoids?
Yeah, humanoids. That might be one.
I mean, the mixture of robots and AI is pretty fascinating. So it'll be wild to see how the next month and next year unfold. It sounds like NFT NYC is going to be quite a different event this year. So it definitely, I just got off a call with all the media organizations, meeting with the founders. It's going to be a very, very different event. I think people are going to be quite happy with who's actually at the event and who's participating. So looking forward to that. Just coming off of Philippine Blockchain Week, one of the things I heard quite a bit was like, people long for this smaller, tighter community of peers and leaders. When you just fill up an event with 10,000 plus consumers, it's not the same as having a smaller, tighter event with a bunch of people that you can actually get things done collaboratively. So that'd be kind of interesting. And I think that there's something really unique about what we're sharing, experiencing here, launching our Beachside Tech Talk. Today is day number 7. We have the next 3 days this week, and then we'll see what happens when I'm in New York. But we certainly have all of July, and then we'll kind of see what emerges from this. But it's been a lot of fun to do this with the 3 of you. I think we missed Teddy over in Portugal, and Dad is of course surfing. We got him last week because he was hurt. So
You know what happened is you filled up his tech tank.
yeah, we filled up his tech tank. I think
he's probably using some of that tech right now.
Yeah, and he just left just enough room for some salt water.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
There's that there.
Okay, well, all you friends out there,
Love everybody.
thanks for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 a.m. in Asia. So I don't think our Asian friends are watching us live. Bye, everybody.
Take care.